Second. Oh, is it working? Okay, good. Yeah. The mic seemed to be delayed for a second. I think all is good now. Anyway, this isn't supposed to be anything super. Sorry, I'm watching the super production value-y. This is just me going live to talk video games. So, thank you for joining or watching or listening to Blue Gamer Bluecast. I don't know what episode this is. I'm gonna have to get back into that, look in the archives, what episode I'm on. I want to say it's in the 70s, maybe 60s or 70s. But no, this week I wanted to talk about, it's near the end of summer. School's back in. The fall releases are going to start trickling in, so we'll kind of look at what's being released. Also, I want to talk about the ROG Ally, or I call it the ROG Ally. There's Asus ROG Ally, Asus ROG Ally. Seems to be a lot of different ways you could pronounce it, but I do want to talk a bit about that because I got one and I am super impressed with it. It's amazing, completely amazing. So, to start with what I've been playing this week, it's really the main game that I'm playing is Armored Core 6. That's like my main, what I'm trying to beat. I'm actually at the next to last boss, and it is pretty hard. It's just reminding me of a Souls boss. It's kicking my ass. I'll get through it eventually. So, yeah, I'm probably going to beat that within the next week. Here's the thing, I'm not super compelled to complete it. It's a fun game, and it looks great. But all that it really is the mechanics of a good third-person mech action game that you can then carry over to do PvP. So if PvP is your thing, the game's great for that. But for its kind of like single-player content, it's pretty limiting. And again, it's either super easy or super hard. There's no in-between ongoing feeling of exploration and doing things. It's just more of, here's arena where I decimate those enemies in arena. Or here's a single-player story where some of it's just blow up a bunch of things, and then a boss, which, again, the boss is awesome. Again, great game. Great game. But it makes me think, I was fortunate enough to get a review copy. But would I have bought it? I probably would have waited for a sale, even though I think it's good. I think it's fun. It's just, yeah, when I'm not playing it, I don't think about it like I did with other Souls games. Also this week, what have I been playing? A little bit more of Gundam Battle Operation 2, even though I haven't been playing that for a while. It's just because I got the ROG Ally, and I'm going to be talking about that in a minute. I wanted to install games on it to see what it could run, and that was one. Actually, two, and I'll get to that in a second why that is two games. What else did I play this week? I kind of went back and just played some brawlers. Again, I'm doing the beat-em-up phase right now in my gaming life, where I'm just, really into beat-em-ups. For my birthday, my brother got me Double Dragon Rise of the Dragon Gaiden, or Double Dragon Gaiden something. I don't know. It's a newer take on Double Dragon, where it's funny how they kind of went back to the original art style and more of expanded on that, so everything looks kind of cute and funny. Despite the Double Dragon Neon that came out in 2013, maybe that was, where they made them more proportioned. I love that game, by the way. Double Dragon Neon is one of my favorite side-scrolling beat-em-ups. But with this Double Dragon Gaiden, it's doing a lot of amazing things. Not only does it have a cool combat system, but it's more like a roguelike. You'll beat a level, and then you have other levels you could choose from, and then once you've done that, then you could choose what levels you want to play. But each time you play, there's variations. Sometimes they're different. Sometimes it'll be a different boss. Sometimes it'll be a different way through, and I don't know if that's maybe things I have to trigger, or it's just sometimes when I play, it's different. But you gain money, and you can do that to upgrade your character between missions. Just when you die, you don't have those upgrades anymore. The only thing that carries over are tokens, and you use these tokens to unlock things. It's not for game. The only thing, I guess, is characters. The rest is artwork, music, etc. But you can also use these tokens to continue. So if you lose all your lives and you want to continue, if you can't pay, you can use a token. So I kind of see it where this game is really, I still have to play it more to really figure out what the loop is, but the loop seems very front heavy of saving up tokens to unlock a bunch of different characters, but then what? Because by then you've gone through all the missions a bunch of times, and again, I think it's a strong foundation, but I wish it had a little more, like, I wish there was more nuance with, for instance, the upgrading your characters. Yeah, because between levels, you can use the money to upgrade your characters, but once you die, it's gone. I wish there was somehow where it's almost like you could have loadouts or certain things, so when you start a mission, you could have certain things unlocked so it plays differently, because it reminds me of Rogue Legacy, and like you have to die and start from the beginning, and it's kind of like the same thing after a while. It's like, yeah, I've done this. But it almost sounds like I'm being negative, because really the game is so much fun. In fact, I got it on the Xbox. But I'm using my I'm using my Asus ROG Ally so much that it's like I kind of want it on handheld, so I might just buy it again, because it's so good. What else have I been playing this week? So, like, Starfield. I think it was Thursday or whatever, people got to play Starfield. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, I would even say that day I was watching people's streams of them playing it, and it has a bunch of the things that I don't care about, and especially specifically Bethesda RPGs, where most of the time is interfacing with characters, the menu, the loot, the world, and then there's little pockets of shooty gameplay, which I've been told, and by the looks of it too, it's better than Skyrim or Fallout, but does that really mean anything? It's better than those, but is it really anything amazing? And I gotta say, in general, from what I'm hearing from people, like, the game's fun, but it's not as amazing as it seems like people have made it out to be. Now, that's unfair because I haven't played it. And I will once it's on Game Pass, which I think is in a couple days on the 6th. And then I'll try it, like on my ROG Ally, for instance, try it out. I just, sometimes games get real boring to me if there's a lot of, like, talking. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's like, I don't play games for the narrative, ever. I play games to learn the mechanics and try to master the mechanics. That's my main thing. So a game like, Starfield is similar to, like, Skyrim, where it's like you're in this world, and there's a lot of atmosphere breaking things in RPGs like that, where it's like, well, this is a gamification version of being in this world that you can explore and look into. So it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's more gamey, because as you're going, you're gaming these certain systems, especially the whole thing about, like, do this a certain amount of times and you upgrade to the next one. Like, everything's a gamification. And I don't know. I don't want to. Oh, hey, Chad, you're in here. I mean, to be better than Skyrim is a great compliment. Yeah, I guess. Skyrim is, again, and I'm probably alone on this, but Skyrim is one that I couldn't get into. Again, it was kind of the same thing where it was neat, but it was narrative driven in terms of go here, talk to this guy, go there, talk to this guy, choose what the talk. I just want mechanics. So we'll see. When it drops in Game Pass, I'm gonna play it and see how far I can get into it, because I like the idea of some sci-fi gaming and being on ships and all that. So next up. Oh, hey, Ian, good to see you. Ian, and I think I need to get back with you. I think you messaged me about something. But yeah, I've been busy. It's why I usually, my plan was to have this show on Fridays. But my Friday got busy. I had the day off, and then the weekend was busy. And now it's Monday, and I've got some time. Hey, Sway, have you played Hogwarts Legacy? No, and it's mainly because I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so it could be fun. I don't know. It looks like it's awesome. It looks like and it's sold well. It looks like the type of game that I would like, where if it's an IP you're interested in, it like puts you in that world. So here is here's the ROG Ally. And it's awesome. Like, I love how I have, like, all the, it has like its own interface when you turn it on of like choosing your games, choosing Steam or whatever, but you like don't need it. And really it's, and you can see here, I got, Windows up and Steam is loaded. And all this really is just a Windows PC as a switch. I mean, that's really all it is. And I remember when this was first released, I was listening to what people had to say on videos. Like, they would complain mainly. They would say like, oh, it's cumbersome to use. There's this thing called Armory Crate, and it's a button you press that then launches, which is fantastic, and it opens immediately. It launches like, it's like your library, and people are complaining that it's like cumbersome, and it is, but it's almost like we're talking about it having a Windows handheld where Asus or no other company has made some sort of front end that puts together all or consolidates like Steam, Ubisoft, EA, Epic, Xbox. Like that doesn't exist. So Asus came up with something, but without being too bloaty, they came up with their Armory Crate, which you don't even need to use it. You can actually just just navigate it like Windows. It's a complete touchscreen. And what's cool is it's got these back buttons, and when you press, if you hold down one of them and press up on the D-pad, it brings up a keyboard. So no matter where you're at, if you're in a game where you have to type, you can bring up the keyboard real quick and start typing. And so, that's fantastic. So with it so far, what are some games I tried out? Cyberpunk. I was super impressed with how I haven't really played through that because again, it does kind of that narrative-driven thing where I gotta go talk to this person and then choose a dialogue tree and then go. I'm like, okay, I get it, but it looked and ran awesome. I couldn't believe it. And then Quake 2, older game, but the remaster came out. Oh man, and that was a dream. What really helps is the screen. The screen on this is amazing. It's 120 hertz, and it's VRR, so variable refresh rate. So it doesn't matter what you're looking at, the frame rates are amazing. And my wife and I were playing the Castle of Illusion remake that came out, I think, in like 2012, 2013, if I remember correctly. And it looks so much better than I remembered, and it's because of the screen that this thing has. And so games are normally playing at maybe 1080p, but because the screen is so small, you're not going to notice the pixel density difference between a 4K display and 1080. And so they're able to run games at a lower resolution, so then the graphics can be bumped up and the frame rates can be bumped up, and it looks amazing. And so what's super crazy about this is then I can play Gundam Battle Operation 2, do my dailies on Steam, but then I use this other program, not PS Remote Play, but it's called, let me look, Chiaki, Chiaki. Chiaki is a alternative to the PS Remote Play, but what this does is it allows you to bypass having to use the DualSense controller. That was the main issue. If I was to use PS Remote Play on the ROG Ally, I would have to then hook up a PlayStation controller, which technically you can do it, but I don't want to have to do that. I want to be able to just do it on the gamepad controls itself, and you can. The Chiaki app allows you to do that. So what was very interesting was I could play Steam, Gundam Battle Operation 2, do my dailies, jump into the Chiaki on the PlayStation Remote, do my dailies in Gundam Battle Operation 2, and it's amazing how good PS Remote Play works, or the Chiaki works on this ROG Ally. So I am remoting into my PlayStation 5 to play games, and it looks, and I don't know if it's because it's the screen, but it looks like I am playing directly and not streaming, which I love, because PlayStation has that Portal coming out. They've finally announced a lot of the information about it. Did I talk about it on the last episode? I forget, but I really like the idea of being able to be anywhere in the house, remote into my PlayStation 5, play some games. But I can do it with the ROG Ally, and it's awesome. And another interesting thing too is I've seen where my gaming habits have changed, because there's a lot of old school games I like to play, or non 3D exploration games I like to play. And it's like yesterday, I was hanging out in my son's bedroom, just playing some games. On the couch, playing some games. It's really nice, so I don't have to be in the office like I am all the time. When I'm making videos or working or even playing video games, it's like I want to be able to do things outside of the office, so it's good that I can get all that done. Now, there's like a downside, and I think that could be the battery. I haven't had an issue with it, but it's one of those things where the battery can drain fast. My use cases, I'm not going to be places where I can't plug it in, so I'm always going to keep it plugged in when I'm using it. Not all the way. I mean, sometimes when I'm hanging out on the couch, I'm not plugging it in, and then usually, the battery's about an hour and a half or 2 hours. I'm not going to, maybe a little more than that. I'm not going to actually do a complete session like that. I'll probably move somewhere, plug it in. But what's interesting is it uses, I think, a 60-watt charger, so you can have it at, there's a turbo mode. So there's different performance modes depending on if you're plugged in and charging and not. That way, it doesn't drain the battery too much. But if I have it like plugged in, I'm going to put it on the, is it called the 30-watt turbo mode? I think it is. So I can play at maximum graphical settings. You could buy a dock for this. So I did this. I bought a dock. And with the dock, it has Ethernet and USB and HDMI. So I had it where I had this plugged in, wired to the internet, and I had the HDMI cable going to the TV, and I was able to play a bunch of Steam games on my TV in the living room with the Xbox controller, wireless controller off the ROG Ally. And that was really nice because there's times in the past where I've hooked up my computer to my living room TV. And then sometimes where it's just not too feasible. It doesn't make too much sense, especially now with a bunch of kids and people using the TV in the living room. But this is an easy way with the... Actually, I have the dock right here, actually. It looks like this. It has this right here. This plugs into the top Ethernet the power supply. So I got like a laptop power supply that does 100 watts. You want the 100 watts so that the device can get the full power, because if you get lower wattage, it's going to split between the different things, and it might not give it the full power it needs. And then you'd have to play at a lower wattage mode, performance mode. But it also has USB, so that I can plug in other controllers. Yeah, there's actually 3 USB ports, so I could plug in other controllers, which is awesome. And so it's like, this thing is awesome. I can't express enough just how awesome it is that I can play these games portable at will all the time. Let's see. Seems like it would be a good investment over the Steam Deck. Yeah, so the only reason I originally had the Steam Deck pre-ordered, and then I decided not to because I heard that there's a lot of games I can't play. Like, you can't play Gundam Battle Operation 2 unless something changed, because it uses the anti-cheat engine, and that can't be used on Steam Deck because it uses a Linux OS that cheat engine hasn't been made for. That's why Destiny can't be played. Now, you can just load Windows onto a Steam Deck, but then you might as well get the ROG Ally, because the ROG Ally is the same price and plays things at a better performance and has a better screen. It has a variable refresh rate on the screen, so it's like, yeah, you might as well get a ROG Ally. Again, because I can download the Epic Store, Ubisoft Play Store, Xbox Store. Can't do that on a Steam Deck. That's why I went with this. And then Anchor, no, it's not Anchor. What brand is this? Baseus, I guess. And I did my research to see what people online thought would be best. And if you guys are to get something like this blocks the fans. So I inverted it like this. So when it's laying in on the dock, it doesn't block the fans. That's something to keep in mind. One thing that I will add is the analog sticks. At first, I thought were too, I don't know how to explain it. They're super loose. They have a lot of sensitivity, and at first, I wasn't crazy about it until, what was I playing? I think Quake 2. It just clicked with Quake 2. Like, because I play Quake 2 primarily, I was playing the remaster on PC with a mouse and keyboard, and so I can be very, I don't know what term I mean, with the mouse. I can really aim with the mouse. It's the old keyboard mouse gameplay. The analog sticks on the ROG Ally are sensitive to that, so you can really, really get precise. But it even has options where you can fine-tune the dead zones, not only within where you're moving it, but then how far it goes. You can fine-tune that. Even the triggers, you can fine-tune that. So they give you a lot of options there. And another cool thing about it is there's another... Let me see if I can... oh, yeah, I love that fingerprint. Didn't recognize it. There we go. I had to do a head-on. Fingerprint reader, I love it. The other thing is if you press... is it this button up here? No, it's this button here. It has these different operating modes I was telling you about, like the turbo mode, but it has this control mode. It's auto, desktop, or gamepad. And I usually keep it on auto, so when it loads a game that uses a gamepad, it knows to switch to gamepad. If it loads a game that has more PC-like controls, you can use more... It's kind of confusing. You might get into a game where the controls seem odd, and you might have to mess around with the controls within the Asus control settings, but also the game control settings. I had to do that with Turbo Overkill. I had to actually change the mouse sensitivity, which affected the analog sensitivity. So that's where sometimes it can get annoying, but you can make it work. And again, I think this goes back to if you're going to get a Windows handheld, expect it to be as cumbersome as a Windows PC, because you do have to edit and tweak things. I'm trying to think if there's much else that... Oh, it's like the Backbone app. That's interesting. Interesting. And can you post some links on Discord? Yeah, I'll post some stuff up on Discord about it. I'll kind of put together, like, everything I figured out. Because I got a few other things. I did buy a... let me get that. I did buy a case for it that has a built-in kickstand, which I like. So you can just have it sitting there on the kickstand. I also ordered some 3D printed grips. Because one thing that I've noticed with 3D games that are real intensive, I think Armor Core is a good example, is I need a bigger grip here. And so for 20 bucks, someone's selling these 3D printed grips that go on here that I can hold down here and shoot. And what's cool about the way this thing works is it has this area down here for like other stuff. I don't know if you can see the depth in there, but I could fit those 3D printed grips there. It reminded me, with my 3DS and my Vita, I also had bought grip cases for them. So, I'm trying to think, is there anything else about the ROG Ally so far that I wanted to bring up? The main thing I will say is it is completely worth it. It is amazing how powerful, how awesome, how fun it is, and that this works. I was skeptical until I used one at Best Buy, and then I started some people that were first talking crap about it, I guess, on their YouTube videos or whatever. Just later on other videos, they would just talk about like offhand how, oh, they're going to do it on the ROG Ally because they're here or they're there or it runs good. And it's like, well, it seems like it's of regular use for people, even though they're talking crap about it. So I say it's worth it. It's a long way for me to say it is worth it. I'll have more to say. I will. I'll do another video, talk more about it. Okay, moving on. This is something I'm trying to figure out too, so. Okay. Releases for September. Mortal Kombat 1, September 19th. Will I play it? I don't know. I feel like with these Mortal Kombat games, when they come out, I play for a little bit, then I stop because it's like, yeah, it's Mortal Kombat. It's not bad. I think I like it back when they had their campaign, the single-player story missions. You know, there was that one, I forget, I always bring it up. I think it was on the regular Xbox, even before 360 maybe, where you could, like, walk around a whole world, and if you're at a certain place at a certain time, you can unlock characters. I love that stuff. Okay, Lies of P. This is that Pinocchio Bloodborne-like. I haven't played the demo, but I'd be interested in trying it out. I think it's going to be on Game Pass anyway. So yeah, I'll be playing that. I don't have any expectations at all for it, because normally if a game comes out that is trying to be a Souls-like, I don't normally get into them too much. I think Neo is a good example of a game where it was trying to be a Souls-like, but it wasn't like trying hard to be a Souls-like. It was just a Japanese developer saying, oh, hey, we can make pretty difficult... Yeah, didn't they make Ninja Gaiden? So yeah, they can make difficult action RPGs. El Paso Elsewhere. Interesting. Never heard of that. September 26th. It's a third-person shooter with werewolves, vampires, and bullet time. Huh. Little screen up here. Interesting. It looks like it's low res, low poly, maybe on purpose. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. So, September 26th. This could be something that I would play potentially. I might play Cyberpunk more now that I got it on the ROG Ally, so I can, like, you know, at certain times pick it up and be like, can I really get into this? Sometimes it takes that bit of, I don't know. Who am I kidding? There's too much talking in it, right? EA Sports FC24 and Cocoon. From Limbo and Inside. I don't know. September 29th. Okay, so that seems pretty light for September. I thought for some reason there would be more. October. Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's October 5th. Wow. I'd like to play that. I mean, the first few were fun, and then even a few after that were fun, but then it just got too samey, so that could be pretty good. Okay, Spider-Man 2. This is an interesting one, October 20th, because I feel like I'm going to play it no matter what, but I'm not even hyped for it. Even the trailers they showed were very narrative heavy. Like, I think one of the levels that they showed where it's more like quick time, you know, avoiding things. We'll see. Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Heck yeah. This is the one I'm most excited about. I'm totally going to get this day one. This is, October 20th. Alan Wake 2. I tried the other ones because they had Alan Wake and then American Nightmare. Couldn't really get into it. But, you know, I'm always down. And speaking of that company, I really want to finish Control because I did like that. And then Quantum Break, I tried. I don't know. November, Thirsty Suitors? Okay, it doesn't sound like anything I would play. Although it says skating. Okay, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Okay, I'm probably going to play Modern Warfare 3. To me, playing Call of Duty is just like ordering a cheese pizza. We're getting some Taco Bell. And I was playing Modern Warfare 2 on the ROG Ally, and it looks and runs great. So, yeah, that'll be that. Okay, so that's it for that. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to add? One thing else. So, okay, the Switch. I have Joy-Cons that are broken, right? And the thing is, Joy-Cons are like $70. And so I put off buying new ones. And then I found it was on Amazon for $17. There was 4 Joy-Con analog sticks and all the tools you need to repair. And I actually was able to repair the Joy-Cons this past weekend, and they work flawlessly. It was so easy. Anyone should keep that in mind if they have Joy-Cons that are starting to drift or they broke or they're not working, that you can like easily repair them. And it works out really good. But you know, when it comes to gaming, you know, that's about it. Again, this was a later edition due to the holiday, getting the ROG Ally. I didn't really know what to really talk about too much, but yeah, there we have it. I mean, I think the news is going to pick up a lot more because there's like PAX going on, and then we got Tokyo Game Show, and then the fall lineup of games coming, so it's going to get pretty crazy. But anyway, thanks for joining the Blue Gamer Bluecast, and I will continue to try to keep this up. So that means there might be one Friday, as soon as this Friday, yeah. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will talk later.